In this video, we're going to go over CRMs. A CRM stands for Customer Relationship Management Software. And the question is, do you need it? And if you are using it, are you getting the most out of it? Are you using the right one? I speak to a lot of founders, small business owners, people who are using CRMs, people who don't use CRMs, people who know what a CRM is. And the question is, which CRM should I use? How do I set up a CRM? That's what we're going to go over in this video, because the reality is that there's different types of CRMs that are best fits depending on what your goal is. My name is Colin, and I manage and use a lot of different CRMs. So I'm going to show you some of the different options and just give you a brief overview of how to go about thinking about what CRM is the best for you. Okay, let's go over what is a CRM. A CRM is something that you can leverage for business utility. So most people who are not using a CRM, what they're doing is they're using a lot of disparate systems to try to run their business. They're using Gmail to do their, email or Outlook. They're using QuickBooks to do their invoicing. They're using LinkedIn to build up personal brand and reach out to people. And they don't really know how to go about bringing it all together and managing all the systems. They might be using Wix for their websites. They might be using WordPress for their websites. And then there becomes a technical overhead that you need to be able to manage all that gets kind of confusing. And if you are a founder just getting started, this might be a little bit too much to be able to manage. And you have to pay for all the different subscriptions for all of these businesses. So, which ones do you use? What's effective based off of where you're at? This is what gets kind of complicated, and what a CRM could really help you with. The key attributes to what make up a good CRM is, first of all, it's an email service provider. You need a way in your business to be able to send emails. Now, yes, you could use your personal email, your Gmail or your Outlook, but the challenge with that is you're doing a lot of reach out and combination of people that maybe are cold that you don't know, people who are warm that you want to nurture, people that are personal and not business. You might be signing up for different newsletters or marketing or promotional material that might get into your inbox. And so managing all of that in Gmail becomes complicated if you're focused more on deal flow, revenue. You might also have different emails, because if you're running a product, you might have a support email, you might have different people on your team, and a sales development rep, a business development rep who might be helping you with emails. So how do you manage all of that? Well, that's what an email service provider can help with. There's different options on how to send out emails, how to do that effectively, and how to manage it. But secondarily, you need a way to do contact organization and management. Now, you could theoretically manage this through your Gmail, but if you ever tried to do that in Gmail alone or Outlook, it gets really, really messy. You could try to manage your network in LinkedIn, but if you do that, it gets really, really messy. So there's a lot of software utility out there that is designed to help you with customer relationship management. How do you remind yourself who do you need to follow up with? How do you track all the activity in one place? How do you take notes about different people? How do you create marketing lists and segmentation? All of these things are what customer relationship management software is designed to help accomplish. Now, on top of that, you might need to send marketing emails. Think one-to-many. Instead of just sending emails one-to-one, like in traditional Gmail, you might need to send 500 emails to all of your best customers, or create a newsletter, or create a promotional email that lets people know about different features that recently launched in your product, or you're promoting a new service offering and want to send it to your best customers. You need a portal to be able to send one email to as many people as you can. And the challenge with this is, depending on how big your email list goes and how, let's say, warm those leads are, there's costs associated with sending out a bunch of emails. So you have to start thinking through, how do I send marketing emails? How many emails am I trying to send? Who am I sending in what types of opportunities? Do I have a product that I have to send emails every single time a product comes? Or am I sending a lot of emails through a welcome series? The number of emails that you send might determine the best customer relationship management software or email service provider that might be the best fit for your particular situation. On top of that, You need to be able to have systems to be able to create websites, create web forms, to be able to intake data, to get people to sign up, to be able to market your offerings. Um, Now, you could use WordPress, you could use Wix, you could use Webflow. There's lots of different ways to be able to set up emails. Now, you could use vibe coding, different AI-based tools, but you have to make sure that your website system talks to your email service provider system to be able to get people to sign up through a web form, get them into an organized database tagged in a particular way that allows you to send marketing emails or at least one-on-one emails. Um, and the reason that you want to do this, because ultimately, if you're trying to drive revenue, you have to be able to manage deal flow. And that's where a customer relationship management software comes in, because they have built software to be able to help you manage all of this. And the beauty of 2026 is there's lots of different service offerings that have created utility software that you can use literally for free without paying anything to be able to get started to grow your business. So we live in a wonderful time that if you're sitting here listening to everything I'm saying, you're saying, wow, that's a lot of things to put together. You're right. But the beautiful part about this is there's software that are out there that offer freemium tiers that you can do all of this stuff out of the box. So this isn't a matter of needing to figure out how to create software to do all this. It's just selecting which types of software to use together, one software, or different architect different systems by putting them together, depending on your use case, to manage all this. And you also, if you're running a business, you need invoicing. You need a way to collect payments. Now, obviously, payments is a little bit different depending on if you're in the United States or outside the United States. There might be different providers that you might need to use. So if you're in the United States, no problem. This is all built in usually to freemium tiers. But if you're outside the United States, this might require a little bit of a slight extra integration. But all of this software is business utility that are required if you are managing and operating an online business. And even if you are just getting started, you want to be able to start thinking through how do you set up the right systems and get in the flow of organizing yourself, because you're only going to be increasing your technical debt as you grow. Now, whenever you start a business, you're always going to incur debt, whether financial debt, technical debt, relationship debt. There's always debt. 100% of the time, there's always debt. But setting up your technical systems from the start and getting used to working with the systems and organizing yourself not only propel your business and allow for it to scale quicker, but it's starting to help you understand what best practices are to be able to set up infrastructure, to be able to be more effective at doing sales and marketing. Now, that, I would say, this is the core functionality that's required for any customer relationship management software. Now, on top of that, let's say a little bit more advanced, are the reason that this a particular software application is worthwhile, even when you're just getting started, is because it helps with administrative capability. Now, you might be a solo founder just starting who's doing all the administrative stuff on your own. So maybe this amount of time saving might seem trivial, but as you grow, having a system in place that allows you to get virtual assistants, allow other users to come in and help you manage it in a way that allow you to still have control over the administrative capability. If it doesn't work out, you could get them out of your system, or being able to grow your team to have more eyeballs on it if you're building a team of people helping you manage it. Thinking through calendar management, scheduling management, integrating online conferencing software like Zoom or Outlook become really important attributes to just consider while you are thinking through how to architect your systems. And the beauty of this is there's still offerings, which we'll go over next, that are literally free, that allow you to already have multiple users for free. So this way, you could, as a founder or a CEO or somebody who's just getting started, set up all of the connections to your calendar, to your scheduler, to certain automations, to be able to kind of set that up and then bring a virtual assistant in to help you manage it. And that's what we want to talk about today. Depending on what you are trying to achieve, I'm going to go over some different CRMs that I use in my business that I'm very familiar with, to kind of show you a little bit of a breakdown of which ones make the most sense depending on what you're working on. Okay, so let's go over. I'm going to go over four different versions, and a category of a fifth. I'll show you. Maybe you've heard of these, maybe you haven't. I'm going to go over just some different options so you could at least see what's out there and start understanding what are the differences between these platforms and which one makes the most sense. So there's a program called Klaviyo, maybe it's pronounced. There's also a program called MailChimp. There's also a program called HubSpot. And then there's also a program called Apollo.io. All of these are slightly different types of CRMs. And I'm going to go over the different types and what makes the most sense depending on what it is that you're selling and what it is that you're trying to accomplish. So the first two that we're going to go over are Klaviyo, and MailChimp. And these offerings are the best for if you have an e-commerce product or if you are sending a very large amount of emails. And the reason I say that is because when you are building an e-commerce product, selling products and services, you are going to be sending out a lot of emails, because the acquisition funnels that are prevalent in the e-commerce game, the automations, the amount of emails that you might want to send pre-purchase after somebody signs up on your Shopify site or your WordPress site or your e-commerce site. You might send 10 emails to those people welcoming them in that drip out over 2 to 3 weeks. So that might be, let's say, 12 emails for one person. And then if you start doing the math and saying, well, I hope that if we're running ads, we get a lot of signups of cold traffic and we're warming all these people up. And then we have a lot of sales through our Shopify site. So therefore, the Shopify site is also having a lot of post-purchase emails. You could see that if you have a high customer volume and all of those customers are receiving a lot of different emails, you need to potentially send out a lot of emails throughout the month. And that means that you have to have a cost-effective email service provider that allow you to keep track of a lot of different customer profiles and distribute a lot of different emails. And some e-commerce or some CRM platforms like HubSpot, as a comparison, charge you based off of how many profiles you have and how many emails you can send out. So HubSpot is designed a little bit more for relationship management and deal flow, which is slightly different than e-commerce and product acquisition. So Klaviyo and MailChimp are better for e-commerce and customer acquisition automations and larger, let's just say, profiles. And the reason is because if you look at the pricing, Klaviyo, let's look at the pricing. The pricing on Klaviyo is it's free to have up to 250 profiles and 500 emails a month. So it's literally free to kind of start sending up a lot of different automations and workflows to be able to start acquiring customers and sending out emails free. And then depending on what you're trying to do, it's very cost effective to start sending a lot of different emails. So if you want to send if you want to have 50,000 profiles, 55,000, then you're talking about $790 a month, which is expensive, but that's a lot of emails and a lot of profiles that, well, they're not even charging, I think, based off of the amount of emails you're sending. They're charging based off of the profile. So that's a lot of profiles. So if you have a big e-commerce store, oh no, it's 550,000 emails a month. So that is a large amount of emails. And Klaviyo has a built-in integration with Shopify, so it works really well with Shopify stores. So as a CRM for e-commerce, it works really well. Just to kind of quickly go over the back end, just so you could see it for the video. This is the dashboard, and what it does is it allows you to set up campaigns, automation flows, website forms. You could also manage. It has a lot of robust features that allow you to basically manage sending emails to customers, essentially. You can integrate socials. Now, what I want to quickly just show you, so you'll see kind of the comparison between the different CRM platforms, is if you go to profiles, you'll see that this is an example of a profile. So you'll see that a typical customer relationship management is automating collecting a lot of profiles, email addresses, and having a lot of data assigned to that profile. So if you see that who this customer is, this is me based in Atlanta, and you could see metrics are how many times, how many emails that they've received, what lists they're on. And then also you could set up attributes to see in a custom way from the e-commerce side, did they check out? What did they purchase? What emails that were sent? So you could save all this data on an individual profile basis. MailChimp is very similar to this. We're just going to go over Klaviyo in this email, but MailChimp is very similar to this. And the beauty of Klaviyo is they're giving you the ability to set up campaigns to be able to send marketing emails out to a bunch of different people, give you open rates, click rates, how many orders were placed through those campaigns. And then also the ability to set up automation flows really easily. So welcome series and browse abandonment. If something was abandoned on a Shopify site, Klaviyo is built for e-commerce product acquisition. So that is, in a nutshell, the best CRM, in my opinion, for e-commerce and product utility. Now, let's say you're not doing that. Let's just say you're managing a service business or a software business, your B2B software business. You are trying to go after deals. You're trying to sell products and services. Well, now you need a business utility platform. You might not need to send 50,000 emails a month. You might not need 5,000 profiles or 30,000 profiles. What you need is more business utility software. You need a better way to be able to manage your business and create good tools for people that within your business that give them tools to be able to effectively manage your business. And that is where HubSpot shines. Now, I'm a big proponent of HubSpot because HubSpot offers a very, very robust freemium product. So this is what HubSpot looks like. HubSpot is not focused on mass volume of outreach. It's a relationship management software, business utility for people who are trying to create deals. And so what this does is it allows you for free to be able to similarly have their own profiles, to be able to have profile cards around people, just like we saw in Klaviyo. But the difference is that they're focused more on understanding activity around one person, what company they're attached to, what deals they are associated with. You could have different attachments associated to them. This is a portal to be able to try to market to somebody and manage them through a sales process. And I have found that HubSpot is the best CRM, the best functioning, and also the easiest to use with the best freemium tier. A competitor to HubSpot would be Zoho because it's focused more on CRM, mail, desk, assist. But I find that this is, in my opinion, not as conducive for small business. HubSpot shines for small businesses who are trying to manage things in the cloud across the team with a lot of different people networking, either on LinkedIn or on social media or out at in-person networking events, trying to aggregate all of the data into one system. So the beauty of HubSpot, and we're going to create a different video about how to set up your HubSpot, but in this overview video, I just want to say that because you can connect your calendar and your Gmail, your email through HubSpot and your Zoom through HubSpot, what it allows you to do is to be able to, once all of that is connected, you could go on any profile and immediately just open an email through the system. And the beauty of doing this through the system is it's kind of, think of it like a data layer. On top of your Gmail or Outlook, that when you send emails through here, it does better tracking. So it automatically has a tracking when someone opens your email, when someone clicks on links in your email. If someone forwards your email, it tells you all of that stuff and it syncs all of the data back to the individual profile card. So that way you could continue to use your business email, your Gmail, your Outlook as your personal business email to reach out to whoever you need to get all your promotional stuff. But you could start setting up your relationship management around your deal flow of people in HubSpot and start emailing them through HubSpot to be able to bring your team involved, to be able to even add people, and they could send out emails from your email. So your virtual assistant can help you manage your inbox and help you manage your deal flow without necessarily needing to access your whole inbox and exchange passwords. It's a much more secure way of flowing everything here and then seeing all of the different emails that are being sent around that prospect. And you see that, this one was sent, you could see emails that are coming in through HubSpot all in one area on around prospect activity. So you could also create notes around prospects. You could create to-do tasks that are reminders. You could also quickly set up meetings to be able to select your location, Zoom, send this person an email or an email confirming to schedule a meeting. You could see your calendar. It's a business utility platform. And this is distinguishable from MailChimp, from Klaviyo, that are more about spamming people. And this is more relationship management. Now, the beauty of HubSpot is they offer, I think, up to 1,000 contacts for free in a CRM, which is a lot if you're just getting started. And then it allows you to start managing people, connect your Gmail, send as many emails through HubSpot as you want. And then they also allow for a pretty robust offering. I pay for a couple people for my HubSpot, so I have 5,000 emails that I can send a month. I think for free you might get 2,000. But the idea is that you could send thousands of emails and have 1,000 contacts. So you have enough to kind of get started to be able to create deals and organize a small community around your product or service and start organizing who those people are, sending out maybe a newsletter, getting people into a system to kind of remember to follow up with them over specific quarters. Now, also, HubSpot has the ability to create website pages and landing pages with its own editor for free. So you could, tie your domain and start creating a website to promote your product or service, embed a form, get people to sign up, get them into HubSpot, email them. You can effectively manage your business all through HubSpot. They offer a chat flow for free. They also offer some basic invoicing for free too. So it's a really truly a business utility platform. Now, where HubSpot gets more expensive is once you start trying to automate stuff and you start having a lot of data. Once you start having a lot of data and automating a lot of stuff, if you want to start flowing them into automation by sending them mass emails, it can get a lot more expensive. So you want to start with the free tier and then be able to think through how do you create deal flow, limit expenses, and then scale strategically when it makes sense to do that. And you kind of have some level of product market fit, and you're making enough money to be able to justify the cost. But once you can justify the cost, HubSpot is a great option. Now, the one thing that HubSpot does not really focus on is prospecting, which is what we're gonna now talk about as the third tier of customer relationship management software, which is software that also helps with prospecting. And the example that I'm going to give here is Apollo. Apollo is prospecting at the center. There's other options like Clay is another example that really puts prospecting at the core. So they all allow you to send emails. You could send out emails. You could also set up automations. They're not really charging for the automations. They're not really charging you for sending emails. But what they're charging for is the fact that they have a massive people database that you could do a lot of searches for to be able to essentially spam people. You could find a lot of leads, put them into sequences, and start sending cold leads, emails automatically, and then get a lot of click rates and open rates. Now, a lot of people use this. Now, I would say that I'm more of a relationship guy. So I found that unless you are in sales specifically, or you are a very large company that's just trying to optimize for outreach at this point, for small businesses, this isn't the thing to do that's going to yield the highest conversion rates. I think that using LinkedIn to build relationships and prospecting, especially if you're trying to find people who are active on LinkedIn and then moving them to HubSpot that's what I do. And that's what I do with clients. That's what I have found to be the best way to achieve business results. But I just want to show you as an option, because a lot of people use these where they are essentially searching for people here. And then if you search for somebody, what it essentially does is it could give you an email address. So let's say you search for somebody, you could get their email, and then you could dump them. You can grab the email through Apollo and then dump them into a sequence. Now, you might be looking at this and saying, this looks kind of complicated. And that's why I like HubSpot better, because it's designed more for teams and not for marketers. This is a CRM that's designed more for marketers and sales reps. It has a lot of robust functionality. I think Clay kind of falls in that category as well. And there's some other examples that are more focused on helping you find leads. But the way I have built my business, and I'm more a proponent of, for small businesses, it's more of a relationship game. How do you find people organically? How do you build up brand? And how do you collect email addresses, put them somewhere in an organized fashion, and then think through a more personalized way to either email them with personalized messages, or at least put them into a personalization sequence or automations that kind of warm them up to be able to go through a flow. You could do that through Apollo, but the design of Apollo is to kind of do that based off of, going after specific companies or people. I like to do this similar type of prospecting through LinkedIn Sales Navigator, but we can talk about that in a separate video and how to do that. But those are essentially the different CRMs of an overview, ones that are for prospecting, ones that are for business utility, and ones that are more for e-commerce product utility, mass outreach, that I find are really good. Now, you could also combine the two. for some of my clients, we use HubSpot for deal flow and more like internal management of like nurturing relationships. And then we use Klaviyo or MailChimp as like our newsletter customer base. Because, for example, like a B2B for Pursue Networking, we offer a B2B product, B2B to C, like a self-serve software product that we are sending out a lot of emails for, welcome emails, but we're also, doing B2B sales. And so we're using HubSpot for nurturing those types of relationships. And I just use HubSpot for my own business networking to be able to send emails to people to stay in touch a little bit more effectively, because the numbers get pretty high when you're doing a lot of business networking. So I find that HubSpot has a really robust free offering to be able to use. And then for products, I use this. And then for some of my clients, we do use this to, let's say, go fishing and send some automation emails, warm them up. Once they click on links or we get a response, we might reach out to them on LinkedIn, move them into HubSpot, and then try to use Apollo for like cold leads, and then warm them up on LinkedIn, and then warm them up in even further in like a HubSpot flow. So you don't have to think of CRMs as necessarily, do I need it? It's like, how do you use a lot of these tools to be able to level up your business utility and create custom workflows that allow you to turn cold traffic into warm leads, into warm conversations that you can close and make money. That's kind of the name of the game. So to answer the final question, do you need a CRM? Yes, you do need a CRM, because it's almost impossible to keep up with the amount of data. If you're looking for investors, if you're building a network, if you are, finding customers, you have to be able to organize yourself and be able to figure out how to build relationships over time. You have to remember to follow up with people. You have to use software to be able to help you with data management. So yes, you do need a CRM. Then the question becomes, what makes the most sense for you? Where are you at in your business? How much do you need to spend? How much can you use free tools that already exist to just set them up on top of your Gmail and Outlook to think through strategically? How do you leverage the features that already exist for free to just make you a better marketer and sales development rep? That's the way you want to think about it. So I hope that helps. And we're going to create some more videos that go into detail on how to set up HubSpot. And we can kind of talk about different workflows in some of the other videos. So hope this was helpful. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions, and I'm happy to, go back and forth with you. All right, peace. Thanks.